Beautiful animals indeed. That story from Jim Bitterman.
And it is time now to name the Maritimer of the Year. We've been waiting for this, of course, throughout 1994. Over the past few weeks, we received dozens of nominations.
And yesterday, we narrowed the list down to 3 candidates and opened our phone lines. Here now are the results of our Live at 5 Maritimer of the Year telephone poll.
And as you can see, the voting was very close indeed. Randy and Janet Connors, AIDS activists, received 45.4% of the vote. We've just rounded it off to 45. Tom McPherson of Glace Bay, the harness racing owner who was involved in a charitable act helping out a young 12-year-old boy get a mechanized wheelchair. Very close. A lot of calls late today. 43.4% for Mr. McPherson. And Jean-Marie Nadeau, whose concept of a World Acadian Congress was realized this summer. A huge success, 11.1%. If you add up those fractions, it comes out to 100%. And so, it is Randy and Janet Connors, our Maritimers of the Year. And here's what a couple of the nominators had to say. Mr. and Mrs. Michael DeVoe of Digby County wrote of the late Mr. Connors, his efforts to ensure the safety of our blood system were very courageous and selfless. He'll be remembered as a hero to all of us.
And Ron Keogh of Sydney wrote, Randy and Janet's involvement in AIDS awareness has, in all likelihood, saved lives while mobilizing people who otherwise might have stayed on the sidelines. And joining us now is Janet Connors. Delighted to have you here, Janet.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What was your reaction when you first heard about being nominated? I know it wasn't until late last night.
No, actually someone that we'd met at the hospital some time ago called last night to congratulate me for us that we had been nominated. It was the first I heard. Was the furthest thing from my mind, and you could have knocked me over. I was just really, really surprised by it.
Well, a lot of Maritimers spoke up on our telephone line. You have not stopped, really. I mean, it was obviously a very difficult year. You lost Randy in the summertime, but you just haven't missed a beat. You're involved. Tell us a little bit about all of the organizations that you're working with.
Well, I'm speaking in a lot of schools. I think I've probably been in about 15 or 20 schools since September, and I'm doing some work with Irondale Theatre Group, which is a group that goes around and does theatre work in schools about AIDS awareness through AIDS Nova Scotia. I'm still involved with the Coalition and Women in AIDS and the National Women in AIDS Project. So. And
you were telling me earlier that there's a large meeting here in Nova Scotia this month, right?
Yes. The Provincial Women in AIDS Project, myself included, we're hosting the National Women in AIDS annual meeting. We're getting ready to plan the second phase of the Canadian strategy for women in AIDS in Canada, so I'm really excited about that.
Janet, I'm curious about your reaction to this. Ron Keogh of Sydney wrote, as I said, that your involvement in the AIDS awareness movement has probably mobilized a lot of people who otherwise might have stayed on the sidelines. Do you get that impression from talking to people? Do a lot of people tell you, hey, we got involved only because we've seen what you have done?
It's not so much that people say that as we see it, people getting involved. When I've done volunteer orientations or when Randy and I did them, people would say that they realized through seeing what we had accomplished that they could do the work and not have to be afraid or not be worried that they were going to be ostracized, whether they're HIV positive or not, that people just are a lot more accepting and understanding now.
How does that make you feel to have had such an impact?
It makes me feel like we did a pretty good job. And I mean, it makes me, in an odd way, it does make me happy. You know, I have a lot of friends that still are struggling with disclosing to family and friends and neighbors, and I think maybe it'll be just a little bit easier for them.
How are you, Jen?
I'm okay. I'm tired. I'm avoiding going back to the doctor, but you know, I'm doing okay.
Well, look, congratulations again on
Thanks,
Maritimer
Paul.
of the Year. We really appreciate you coming in and always being very kind in dealing with the media. And I know you've been the center of a lot of attention over the last couple of years. And we really appreciate your candor and your willingness to help out. And congratulations again.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And when we return, Canada's newest world champions. Watches on TV as they secure the gold medal. The celebration, Live at 5 returns.